I had a minor success yesterday. I I found out the night before, not last night, but the night before, I found out that someone is essentially living in my cafe. They'd called me a month and a half ago and asked about renting it and putting a bait shop in there. I said, hey, sounds good, why not? And then they kind of fell off the map. I tried calling them, left messages, called a different number, left a message for them. They didn't call back. I said, well, I think they flaked. I threw the number away. What I didn't realize is they had actually gotten the key from the neighbor, and they're living there now. They dug out my blackberry bush, and apparently one of the windows on the attic area is missing, and they're, according to my neighbor, running a barbecue out of there. But I haven't talked to them. I think I specifically told him he couldn't live there. I mean, I did. And then he hasn't called me. And if he doesn't call me by tomorrow, I'm going to call the sheriff. I don't want to call the sheriff. I don't want to involve the sheriff. But that's in Nebraska, and I'm here in Las Vegas. Oh, man. And so, like, yesterday morning, this was on my mind because somebody's living there. It's raining. The window's not in it. They're digging out my bushes. I hope they don't dig out my goji berries because I really wanted those goji. You know how much I worked to get those bushes in there? Like, if you go online, or sometimes they send catalogs, it's like, hey, look at all these great giant growing things. You can have these for just like 99 cents. You say, oh, dang, that's a good deal. I'll buy 20 of them. And they come. I mean, I seriously spent several $100s, and it came in like this little bag. I was like, is that like half, a little bit of my order? I open it up. It's all these like twigs with roots. So what they do is they get these little, they graft things together, and then they cut all the branches off and make them dormant. And then they thaw them out and send them to you. And then you're supposed to soak them in water and then baby them. And that's what I did. I babied them. I mean, all these bushes I babied for a year with a watering system. And then they were big enough. And then I transplanted them. And then it was a dry season. And the neighbor there likes telling tall tales. So I can't 100% be guaranteed that the story I got on this guy living in my place is 100% accurate. But even if it's like 80%, even if it's 50% accurate, there's an issue because he should be calling me and giving me money. If he's living in my place, he shouldn't be living there. Anyway, so I put a lot of effort into these berry bushes. I've got cherries and sea berries and goji berries and then blackberries I used to have until I guess it got dug out. Which, in all fairness, I think I might have mentioned to him that, hey, there's this unruly blackberry bush and grapes there. I don't know if the grapes are still there. You can take that out if it's causing you trouble with your business. So I think I might have given him permission to take it out, but he wasn't doing me any favors by taking it out. So, oh my gosh. Seriously, it looks like I'm going to be calling the sheriff tomorrow. But then, so yesterday, I woke up, I was all kind of frustrated about this, my bushes, and it looked like the rain. And I thought, Josh, it's going to work out. Like, literally, I had this, kind of a pressure cooker of stress around it. Not really, it was not fury, but I was like, something I got. It's all going to work out. It's okay. Like, literally, it's okay. It matters, but it doesn't matter in the big sense. I mean, literally, I'm going to live and die no matter what happens to that place. So I felt like I had a minor success. Really though. You live and learn from your experiences. I'm a high trust person. I live in a high trust world, and generally things go really well for me. But then you hit a speed bump like this guy who high trust was not the answer for him. Upfront $500 deposit and a written contract was the answer for him. Tell you what, yeah, wishful thinking myself. I've wishful thought myself into circumstances that I regretted for had years of impact. Like this one time I had this Airstream trailer. I bought this thing, I towed it down to Kansas, and the thing ended up being just a big old mess. Like, I sold it kind of on a handshake to these guys who were going to what were they gonna do? They were gonna, I don't know, fix it up, travel around the country or something like that, and pay me monthly payments or something. I don't know, but it was wishful thinking. I ended up paying money to get them the fuck away from it. You know what I mean? Like, okay. I think I ended up paying $200 to get them to go away from my possessions. So, this isn't that's not the first time. I mean, this time with the cafe, that wasn't really wishful thinking. That was like somebody calling with an idea that I thought was a good idea. And I mean, his aunt and uncle live there. His aunt and uncle live in town there, and their family is from the area. So like, well, it's just like that. You gotta have experiences of frustration to really understand clearly the right things to do. And with that clarity of understanding comes a subtle power that you can never buy. You have to earn that understanding of people. Now, I read a lot, I've studied a lot of people, and I'm aware of some of my own weaknesses. And frankly, if someone had alerted me to my circumstance at that moment, I may have thought better of it. I may have thought better of it. But in the fact of the matter, I've had pretty good luck and easygoing people. I'm easygoing, but so now I'm gonna have to call a sheriff, Nebraska sheriff. I think I might just call them and ask them what recourse I have, because they haven't been there 3 months. Once someone's, even if they're squatting, once someone's somewhere for like 100 days, you actually have to go through court. Whereas right now, I could have the sheriff show up and say, all right, you got to get on. But I'm guessing they're smoking meth up in there, because my neighbor there, and again, I can't be 100% sure that my neighbor there is giving me the full and accurate story. I just know him too well to expect that. But he's a good person. I'm glad he's there. I'm glad he looks out for my place. I am. But oh man. I'm going to call a sheriff and ask him what I can do. And I guess I'll call up my neighbor there and say, hey, neighbor, let him know I talked to the sheriff and this is what's going to happen if they don't call me and work something out. You can't live a place of somebody's and not talk to them, not pay them rent, or come to some understanding. I mean, like, I'm like a lot of people. I'm intelligent and I mean what I say. So when I have conversations with people who are intelligent and mean what they say, it's easy. A high trust society goes a lot further than a low trust society, because people can work things out on the fly. I can't imagine our world without law or lawyers. But the fact is they just cause as many problems as they solve. If you just had sensible people with good hearts, you wouldn't need laws. People would innately work together. But because people don't, or a section of people don't, you have to have laws that then govern everybody. Everybody becomes subject to these laws. And laws are really a reflection of the human needs and desires. Ultimately, that's what they should be. It's like there's a circumstance. The laws need adjusting to sort that out, to cover that. And then humanity changes, people grow, understanding evolves, and then laws also evolve. But there's just this like lawsuit culture in America that's such a detriment, because people are just looking out for reasons to have a problem with somebody. And the lawyers are the worst. They're the ones, I'll take your case so you don't have to pay anything if we don't win. That should be a prosecutable offense. A lawyer fishing for somebody to go sue someone else? Like, that's obviously, it's so unhealthy. How do we solve that? I mean, we really can't get rid of lawyers. We can't get rid of the laws. I mean, we can't just go sidestep to an anarchy and have no laws. I mean, how long would that last? You'd end up with a warlord that same day. You can't not have laws. But how do we solve it? Really, I mean, what's possible? I'm thinking pay off everybody's law school and bar everybody who is sworn to the bar from practicing law in America, holding political office or any of that. Just outlaw them and their profession and pay off their school and then say, learn how to do accounting, sir. Learn how to code. No, I really don't know what the answer is. There has to be some recourse, because uh, it's a detriment to our society, our social fabric. If a lawyer is causing neighbor A to sue neighbor B, like, is that enriching the lives of neighbor A and neighbor B? No, it's harming their lives. Anyway, call the sheriff.